Hello crafty friends, my name is Susie Chocolate. I'm from Tallis for Touch. This is my first demonstration ever. I'm not a professional, I just love sharing the things that I do with others. Today's demo is going to be on Sticky Embossing Powder. A friend asked me how I did something, and I was trying to tell her about it, and the easiest way was for me to actually do her a little video, and so that's what I did, and this is sort of how this all came about. So this is Sticky Embossing Powder by Cosmic Shimmer. I know that Ranger also do a sticky embossing powder, and probably other places do that I just don't know about. But it's like a powdered glue. It's very fine. It's white in colour, but it melts like a glue when you put heat on it. And so you need to have a heat gun, and you either need a Versamark or an embossing stamp pad. I have read that you can use distress inks or some pigment inks to actually adhere this to, but I haven't tried that myself yet. But this is part one of things that you can do with the sticky embossing powder, and so I'll tell you more about that later. But yeah, think of this as a sticky glue and not as an embossing powder. You do have to be very quick with it. Once you've stamped with your Versamark, that will stay wet for a while, but and then you sprinkle the sticky on. Once you've then put your heat gun on, and it takes very little time with a hot gun to actually melt it. Once it's melted, you then have got to work quite quickly, or obviously it will dry, just like a glue would if you was using a glue, sticking a something on a topper or something onto a card. It's going to dry because it's a thin layer, so you do have to work quite quick, but you'll soon get used to it. I haven't been using it for that long, but I found that I really do I do love it. And so, as you can see, some of the things here on my desk are the bits that I've been trialling, and which are going to be in the video shortly. I will show you how I use Mica powders, so Mica pigment powders. Lots of companies make those now. I've got Cosmic Shimmer, and I've also got some Ranger Perfect Pearls. And so any type of Mica powder will work. Gilding Flakes work very well. I have an Egyptian Gold Gilding Flakes from Cosmic Shimmer. As you can tell, I like Cosmic Shimmer. So I'll be using those. I also use some glitter. It really does need to be fine glitter. I have tried some of these little ones because I know lots of people have these because they're reasonable to buy. But I didn't have a huge amount of success, but I think that it might work better on a more solid image, which is what I'm going to be doing in part two. So you've probably already tried using Mica powder on just a VersaFine. So this is a little stamp that I've done here. And then I have brushed on some of this Cosmic Shimmer colour by Phil Martin. That is magenta, something magenta, chic magenta. And so that's the Versamark with the Mica brushed on, and it's very flat. There's no texture to it whatsoever, and this is a metallic Mica powder, so it is very glistening, and sorry about that, it's where I've smudged it. You are supposed to be able to spritz this with water and it sets, but I've not had a huge amount of success on that. I did this over a week ago, but if you rub it, it still smudges and you can get it on your fingers. And so although that's, you know, a way that you can use the Mica powders, I really love this sticky embossing powder as the way to go forward for me. And as you can see, it's the same heart, and it's really got some texture to it. It's quite rough, and this is using this Sunray Light Mica powder. This one is using this fine crystal glitter, and it's very white and green and sparkly because there's lots of different colours in the crystals. There's red and green and white, and you can see it all glittering away there. This one has been done with a copper, and again, you know, the glitter is textured. The sticky embossing powder makes the texture, and whatever you stick on top, it gives the colour. So this is done with some copper, and this pink one here is done with this Sinkful red, and aren't they beautiful? I love them. I think they're gorgeous. And so in the video that we'll get onto in a second, I'm going to show you this little image here, this little googly-eyed dog. This is done with the copper mica, and this is done with this orange glitter. Now you'll see as I go through it, I was excited about it to start off with, but then I found I could rub off a lot of the orange. Now it depends on which way you hold it as to what you can see, but if I hold it looking down, I can see loads of orange. If I hold it like this, I can see loads of green. And so I think it depends on the actual glitter that you're using and the size of the area. So it'll be interesting to see how that works on a more solid image. So they are there. Oh, this is just an example of a bigger stamp that I did and covered in Gilding Flakes. Now, and this is how quick you have to work. I haven't got a little sponge that you use for Gilding Flakes to dab them on. I have to use my fingers, and although I heated it up and sprinkled the Gilding Flakes on really quickly and tried to squash it down as quickly as I could, by the time I'd got up here, this was all drying, and so there's very little Gilding Flakes in that section. I don't know if you can see that, and there's some bits missing here. The bottom is an awful lot better than the top because I worked my way up. So that just, you know, if you've got a big image, just remember that you've got to work quite quickly. Oh, and something else that I need to just say is that if you overcook it, so if you use your heat tool and heat and melt the sticky embossing powder too much, then you will overcook it and you'll dry it with the heat. These are one of my first two that I was totally unsuccessful with, and so I totally overheated it because I was like waiting for it to change, you know, like you do your embossing powders, and I think I just held it there for far too long. That's using Gilding Flakes, and there's very little that has adhered. Here it was obviously a bit thicker, and so it has here, and this was using some purple glitter, and very little of that has adhered. So do be careful. You'll see how quick in the video that it is to actually melt it, because there's quite some close-ups of that, and so you can see it melting, and it's done within a couple of seconds. And so yeah, just remember that one as well. I think I've shown you everything that I needed to. Oh, I use I forget to use, sorry, not use, I forget to use my embossing buddy. Please forgive me. It was a bit of camera nerves. Each time I forgot, and each time I say to you that I've forgotten, and so I'm really sorry. I will have it out in my vision so that I can see it in the future. So I hope you enjoy what you're now going to see. So if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments box, either on my blog or on the YouTube where the video will be. until next time when we do part 2, which is going to be solid images, and then part 3 I thought I'd try some foils on sentiments, because I know foil also works on it, although I haven't got it here today. I have used the Gilding Flakes, and so I was going to use foil on sentiments, and maybe stamps, and see how that works. And then if anybody wants me to try it on anything else in any other way, there, or I think of something else that it could be used on as I go along, then there'll be a part 4. That's it for today. Hope you enjoy. Thank you very much, and let's get on with the demo. Right, so I'm just going to show you how this sticky embossing stuff works. So I've got a little googly faced dog here that I'm just going to Versamark. So Versamark onto some black paper, and so he's like that. Let's cover that up, and then sprinkle some of the sticky embossing powder on. Oh, I forgot to do my embossing buddy. Damn, never mind. You'll forgive me. And then tip that back in to here. Like that. So then I'm just going to heat this up, and then I'm going to do it with the copper mica powder with a brush to dab it on. It doesn't take long, but I just need to heat this up first. So I'm hoping you can see this. And that's it melted. That's melted. And so then you take some copper powder and you just brush it over. And hopefully this will have worked for you. So knock it off, and then with a bigger brush you brush away as much as you can, and then with a anti-static cloth, as long as it's cold, you can then rub it over and get rid of all the other sparkles. Like that. And you'd probably die cut or fussy cut that out anyway, wouldn't you? So it doesn't matter about the surrounding area. But that is instead of using embossing powder. I know we've used the sticky embossing, but that is what we've stuck the mica to. And so it comes out, I hope you can see, there we are, I think you can see that there now, lovely and glossy. So that's with the mica, whatever you call it, powder. Let me just get rid of this. Right, so now I'll do it and we'll put some glitter on. Now I've got one of these little tubes of glitter, which I haven't tried, but I hope it's going to work. Nothing like doing things live, Suzanne. Let's turn that up. Right, okay. So Versamark. Oops, yeah, pressed him hard enough. So we've Versamarked him. We're now going to Sticky Embossing Powder him. Oh, and I forgot to do me buddy again. Oh gosh. That's what the camera does to you, is it? Right, stick that on there, put the lid on, and then we're just going to heat this up again. It melts really quickly, as you can see, and then fingers crossed, we're now going to find out if this glitter, this fine glitter, works. I'm not sure how fine it is, whether it's as fine as the one I used earlier, but here we go. Oh yes, look at that, that's excellent. No, that's the brush you've just used for the gold, copper. Let's get another brush, Suzanne. Where's my other brush? See my tool set, hang on, here we are. Yeah, that's fairly... There we are. And so that's what he looks like. Can you see? Oh, I can't see if he's glistening. Is he glistening in there for you? I hope so. And so that's with glitter. That's with the mica powder, which is the best, and that is done with the embossing, with the anthracite, but that's just anthracite embossing powder on top of Versamark. So it does the same thing as embossing powder on top of Versamark. That's the mica whatever, which I think looks the very best, and then this is the glitter, which doesn't do a bad job. Oh, hang on a minute. Is that going to all rub off? Oh, well, it's left a greeny. I don't know if you can see that. It's left the greeny bits, but there's not too much orange actually on there. If I brush it. No, I don't much like the look of that now. I've brushed a lot of it off. It's left the greeny shadow, but this is definitely the way to go with the mica powders. Where are my bits from earlier? What did I do with them? Here they are. Or I could try and do, or let's try and do one with Gilding Flakes. Hang on, let's try and do, because he's only little. Oh, I hate having to put these back in these tall tubes, because it is such a faff. And how you end up with more glitter than you started with, I'll never know. So I don't think that was too successful with that glitter. The white glitter I used this afternoon was a crystal glitter, and that was better. I think it's probably because it's finer. It's adhered the really fine bits, which are sort of a greeny, and there is some orange in there. There is some orange. So let me find another bit of black paper. Where's that other bit of black paper? I think I'll put it a bit in the middle because Gilding Flakes just go everywhere. Right, let's try the Gilding Flakes. get rid of this because the Gilding Flakes will go everywhere if I'm not careful. And so let's put some sticky powder on. Melt the sticky powder. Like that, and then just tip some Gilding Flakes on the top of them. I think a plain Gilding Flakes would look better, because where I've got bits of silver and bits of orange in here, like there's silver down there and there's orange there. It just looks a bit bitty. And back in you go, in your little home. Don't sneeze. I had a sneezing fit earlier. It's a good job I didn't have the Gilding Flakes open then. Right, so then just give it a little polish over with that, and see, and so he's looking brilliant. Can you see how lovely and shiny? So Mica Powder and Gilding Flakes definitely work better than ordinary glitter, but the fine glitter in the white that I used this afternoon, which was that? That's this one. I think that, and that's stuck on. You can't brush that off at all. I think that looks really lovely. Green and white, and there's little bits of red sparkle in there. It was this. And so when you look in it, there's lots of green and red as well as white. Yeah, so that's just all crystal glitter. But yeah, I love these. I'll definitely be using it more. I've tried it once, but I didn't realise how good it was with the Mica Powders. I tried it with glitter to start off with. I've only had it a couple of weeks when I went to Anne for the first time. But definitely, and it's textured, and I love the texture. It's really rough, but it's a lovely feel. And so that's how you use it. So once you've got a bit of Mica Powders, Perfect Pearls or something like that, they come in tiny little things like these, or they come in bigger pots like them. What else have I got? Where is it? I've got quite a few different colours. Oh no, here is a iridescent white, and oh gosh, colours by Phil Martin, and a lovely red. Anyway, I hope you can see now how you use it.